In Russia, the Kremlin had learned a lesson. Never again did it want to confront America from a position of weakness.
Lack of nuclear armaments and the weakness of the Soviet Union came as a shock to the Soviet leadership. It was like a cold shower for the government, who realized that these weaknesses had to be overcome.
The Soviet Union built up their nuclear forces. They added hundreds of missiles to their arsenal. The Americans had to accept that, realistically, they could no longer destroy all the Soviet forces.
It became clear that if you said that your main approach was going to be to target the other side's military capability, what would happen is that those targets would proliferate to the point where there would be no limit to the amount that you would spend on strategic forces. The military on both sides accepted that they could no longer protect their own country from destruction.
The superpowers had discovered they had one thing in common, an interest in avoiding nuclear war.
It is an ironic but accurate fact that the two strongest powers are the two in the most danger of devastation. All we have built, all we have worked for, would be destroyed in the first 24 hours. And even in the Cold War, which brings burdens and dangers to so many countries, including this nation's closest allies, our two countries bear the heaviest burdens. For we are both devoting massive sums of money to weapons that could be better devoted to combat ignorance, poverty, and disease.
A grim logic was beginning to emerge. Nuclear disarmament was not achievable, yet nuclear war was unthinkable. By 1964, McNamara had concluded that his no cities plan was a dangerous illusion. War would only be avoided, he now thought, by the threat of mutual suicide.
McNamara, in particular, became totally convinced that the only strategy was what is known as mutually assured destruction, M.A.D. for short. And what that meant was that the only way to have stable deterrence in the world was for both sides to be able to kill 25 to 50% of the other's population.
It's not mad. Mutual assured destruction is the foundation of deterrence. Today, it's a derogative term, but it's those who denigrate it don't understand deterrence. If you want a stable nuclear world, if that isn't an oxymoron, let me rephrase it, to the degree one can achieve a stable nuclear world, it requires that each side be confident that it can deter the other. And that requires that there be a balance. And the balance is the understanding that if either side initiates the use of nuclear weapons, the other side will respond with sufficient power to inflict unacceptable damage.
Submarines now played a crucial role.
3, 2, 1.
T0.
Fire.
For M.A.D. to succeed, each side needed to be able to retaliate even after it had suffered a surprise attack.